Hello, hello, hello. Coach Adrian here. So excited to be able to do yet again another YouTube Live with you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, every Friday at noon Eastern time here in the US on the East Coast, I am going to be doing a YouTube Live talking to you guys about a topic that I'm thinking about based on things that have happened this week, and also give you a chance to ask all of your questions towards the end of my YouTube Live. This is our routine. Thank you for tuning in. As always, say hello, tell me where you're from, where you're tuning in live from today. I always love knowing a little bit about you guys and where you are. So Bella in Scotland, hello to you. Hello to you, Kayla. Hello to Ivy. Hello to Cavalli West from Philadelphia. Lawrence in Chicago. Jem in Boston. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I wanted to do a little bit of a different YouTube Live today. Usually what I do is that I pick a topic and I discuss it somewhat at length to try to give you guys some substance. And then I open it up to questions. What I did this week is that I took notes during my sessions with clients, and I came up with 10 things that clients do that hurt their chances of getting back with the one they love. So that's why I called this video the 10 things you should stop doing if you want your ex back, right? So the things not to do after a breakup, because very often you'll come on our YouTube channel and we'll tell you do this, do that, do this, do that, but perhaps we don't spend enough time telling you guys what not to do. And those are real life clients that I've spoken to this week. Of course, I won't tell you their story and I'll keep their confidentiality of their identity, but I can share some of the things that I've shared with you today. So here we go, okay? So the first thing that you should stop doing is stop living in the past and overthinking your mistakes. And this is quite important because many of my clients keep talking to me about the mistakes that they've made. So usually we'll take some time to go over their story, then I provide them with a plan, then they ask questions, and then once they tell me, no, everything is clear, I understand what I have to do, they often want to come back and tell me, but coach, I did this and I did that. And you have a tendency of putting so much focus and attention on your mistakes that you are robbing yourself of your own power to create basically the breakup recovery journey that you want. And it's very easy to be sucked into all of the negative things that you've said and done after the breakup when you were vulnerable. And if you tend to overthink the past and your mistakes, you won't be able to take the proper actions moving forward. So this is the first thing that a client did this week that I was basically telling them, please stop doing this, stop living in the past, stop overthinking your mistakes. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to be your best self. The second thing is to stop continuously apologizing for your mistakes, right? So very often after a breakup, you have a ha-ha moment. You start to realize that perhaps you've been too neglectful or you were too needy. And finally, everything that your ex was telling you starts to make sense. You see it. You're able to put yourself in their shoes. And you feel guilty. You feel bad. And you just continuously apologize to your ex. So oftentimes people apologize over the phone, via text, in person, and then they send an apology letter as well on top of that. And then they call me saying, what do I do? And you've burned all your bullets. And at the same time, you have put your ex on a pedestal and there's nothing left for you to kind of showcase because you're just harping on your mistakes and not on what appealed to your ex to begin with. And of course, it's important to apologize and to bring yourself to account and to understand what went wrong. But it's also very, very important to bring the best of what you have to offer forward. Otherwise, how is your ex going to be attracted to you again if you keep continuously and constantly reminding them of what went wrong? So number 2, stop continuously apologizing for your mistakes. Number 3, stop trying to understand what your ex is thinking and what your ex is doing. And this is hard. But so many of my clients reach out to me and they just there's a need to understand every single thing that the ex has said, or why they're portraying themselves a certain way on social media, or why they're flirting with this person and all of that. And I understand that you love this person and that it can be overwhelming. But if you don't stop worrying about them, what they're doing and what they're thinking, you are going to constantly be reacting to what they do instead of focusing on what you need to do to quickly bounce back. And it's easier said than done. I give you that. But it is possible, and you have to keep yourself accountable. So number 3, stop trying to understand constantly what your ex is thinking and what your ex is doing. Again, those are for those of you who are just tuning in right now. I'm giving you 10 things that you need to stop doing in order to maximize your chances of getting back with the one you love. And those notes come from tips that I gave to clients this week in private coaching session. If this is helpful, please like the video and tell me that it is helpful so I don't continue on with this list, just so that I know that this is, please engage with me here. Okay, I'm doing this for you. Number 4, stop comparing your ex's behavior after the breakup to how they acted and treated you during the relationship. And you need to accept the fact that the relationship is over, right? You're broken up. And you can't expect your ex to continue to treat you the way they did while, at the height of your relationship. Because after a breakup, things change. And their dynamic with you is going to change. Sometimes you're going to see a person that you don't even recognize, and that's okay. Again, we are working on you here and on the things that we can control. And when you start to, again, live in the past and think, why is my ex so cold? Why is my ex, all of a sudden all active on social media when he didn't used to be like this during the relationship, and you're expecting this person to continue to act the way they did when you were together, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to be vulnerable. You're going to set yourself off, and you're going to make mistakes. So tip number 4 here, stop comparing your ex's behavior to how they acted and treated you during the relationship. It's a different dynamic. And I often tell people, I'm brutally honest during these coaching sessions, and I tell them, the relationship is over. The breakup has happened already. The sooner you acknowledge this, the better equipped you will be to actually win them back. Okay? Tip number 5. Very, very, very important. And this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Number 5, stop comparing the potential of what your relationship could have been, and instead focus on what it actually was. Very, very, very important. Okay? After a breakup, you are in a vulnerable state of mind, and you have a tendency of only focusing on the good, the best of what your relationship was, and the potential, who you hoped that your partner would be. And that becomes your reality and the reality that you live in. And so you feel like crap because, your mind is basically leading you to believe that you have lost this amazing relationship that was perfect and with a person that made you so happy. When in reality, when we start to talk in coaching sessions, I quickly realized that the relationship wasn't perfect and that many times you were unhappy too. Many times your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife was falling short of their responsibility to make you happy. And it's important that we knock this person off of that pedestal if we are to create a dynamic where you can start to attract and seduce each other again. It's not just your responsibility to make things work. Your partner has some growing to do too. Usually, it's not one person's responsibility when a relationship goes south or goes wrong. Two people are responsible for that. And many times you act like you're the only responsible party because you're just focused on what the potential of your relationship could have been versus what it actually was. So, this is the fifth thing that you need to stop doing right now. Number 6, very important too. Stop letting other people dictate how you feel about your ex. And quite often, friends, family, or coaches that you see on YouTube are telling you this is what you should be thinking and this is what you should be doing. And you need to continue to fight, or you need to move on, or this day weren't good for you anyway. And you let the noise start to affect your psyche and how you feel currently and about your prospects moving forward long term. And it's hard because obviously you need to be able to communicate with other people about what's going on. And at the same time, you're in a vulnerable state of mind. And so I've seen so many people who had what it takes to make it all happen and to get back with their significant other. But then, their parents get in their ears, or finally friends feel like now they're entitled to tell you everything that they felt about your significant other. And it affects you. And it's normal, you're a human being. So be careful. In my philosophy, in how we try to approach things, we try to create an environment where you are in control of your emotional destiny. And in order to do that, you need to set certain boundaries with your ex, with your friends and family, and sometimes, of course, with yourself. Keep yourself accountable. So my number 6 tip today is stop letting other people dictate how you feel about your ex. Okay? So number 7, stop letting your self-worth be determined by the attention that your ex gives you. And it's a lady in particular that I was coaching yesterday, a fantastic lady who lives in Hawaii, who was just seeking the validation of a man that was quite honestly dealing with all sorts of issues, in his life. And many times you start to feel guilty and you start to feel like poop because your significant other is not treating you the way that you want them to treat you. And your confidence and your self-esteem is completely shot. And you take this as the ultimate, disrespect and rejection. And you somehow feel that it's because you're not good enough or you're not worthy. When in reality, a lot of times it's because your ex has issues and they don't know how to deal with those issues. And so you're the one that has to deal with the brunt of the negative emotions and energies that they are unable or equipped to deal with. So if you're letting your ex or anybody else for that matter determine your self-worth, or if you're constantly seeking attention from your significant other, your ex, in order to feel good, you're in a world of trouble. Really, you're in a world of trouble because there's no guarantee there. And your ex is going to try to send a message. They're going to try to justify their decision. And they're going to be focused only on the negative aspects of the relationship and the worst of what the relationship actually was. So please, if you really want to maximize your chances of success, if you want to be happy despite everything that's going on, you need to stop letting your self-worth be determined by the attention or the validation that your ex is giving you. It's going to be very difficult for you to get back together unless you're able to do this. Okay? Are you guys still with me? I don't see any more comments. Just want to make sure you're still tuned in and that you're gaining value here. Okay? So Thank you, Helen. Number 8, stop making excuses and work on becoming a better you. Okay? A lot of times, again, people start to feel guilty and are super vulnerable or depressed. And so you're making excuses to not take action, right? Sometimes you feel like you need to learn everything there is to learn before you can really start to engage in this process. Or you binge watch videos for hours and hours and hours because you don't want to take action. It's that is a problem. You need to be accountable to yourself. Your mindset is the most important element of this breakup recovery. You create your reality with your thoughts and with your actions. And if you are making excuses to just feel sorry and to mope and to just, think of yourself as this horrible person who blew their chance they had about being happy with the perfect partner, it's not going to work. You need to take action. And ultimately, you're going to make mistakes along the way, and that's okay too. I'd rather have you take action, positive actions. That doesn't mean communicate with your ex, by the way. It means working on yourself and changing your circumstances. I would rather have you take action and make mistakes rather than be so afraid to make a mistake that you do nothing. Because you're not gonna be able to win your ex back, and you're not gonna be able to really maximize the opportunity that is in front of you, because a crisis is an opportunity if you don't take action. So tip number 8, no more excuses, and let's work on becoming a better you today. Today. Not tomorrow, not after work, today. Okay? All right. Tip number 9. This is a very, 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 very good one. Okay? And so many people have trouble understanding this. So I'm excited to be able to talk about this one in particular today. Stop being afraid to move forward with your life out of fear of not loving your ex anymore. So many people hold themselves back because they're afraid that their feelings are going to dissipate and vanish, that you're just going to move on, right? So many people are afraid to move on, and they feel like they somehow have to stay in a state of vulnerability, because if not, they're somehow letting go of the relationship. And that is a big problem, because in essence, you are putting your ex on a pedestal and letting them stay on this pedestal deliberately because you're afraid of what life could be without them. And because you're letting your fears and your anxiety get the best of you, you're not able to turn into the person that can actually attract your ex to begin with. And moving forward does not mean moving on. Moving forward means making the best of the breakup and changing, becoming that higher, better self that I often talk about in my videos. And you need to get over your fears, your anxiety, and your ego. Ego is the enemy. And your fear and your anxieties usually lead you to continuously make mistakes because you're afraid to be happy. You're afraid that if you're happy without your ex, that somehow you will lose or you will fail. When in reality, that's exactly the way towards building the relationship that you want with the person that you love. And which leads me to my final tip, the 10th tip that I shared with multiple individuals this week. And it is that you need to stop thinking that you need your ex to be happy. You need to stop thinking that you need your ex to be happy. And it's difficult because you love them and the feelings are overwhelming. But the reality of it is that, just like I said a few minutes ago, the only way for you to be able to be in the relationship that you want to be in is to be happy first, to be independent, to turn into this person that inspired them initially at the beginning of the relationship. You will not guilt trip them into taking you back. You will not just put your life on pause and on hold and wait for them to come back and then you'll be happy. I don't see that happening ever. When people do that, they end up getting back together and making mistakes and calling me back again. The only way to really make the most of this is to be happy before you have a chance to really truly maximize your attraction power, inspire the one you love to create a new relationship. So today, those 10 things you need to stop doing in order to truly maximize your chances of success. Stop living in the past and overthinking your mistakes. Stop continuously apologizing for your mistakes. Stop trying to understand what your ex is doing or why they're acting a certain way. Stop comparing your ex's behaviors to how they acted when you guys were together. Stop comparing the potential of what the relationship could have been and instead focus on what it actually was in order to gain clarity, okay? And not live in this bubble, fantasy bubble. Very important. Stop letting other people dictate how you feel about your ex or your emotional destiny. Stop letting your self-worth be determined by the attention that your ex gives you. You don't need the validation of this man or of this woman in order to be who you are, your authentic self. You don't need it. Stop making excuses and work on becoming a better you today, right now. Don't put it off. Stop being afraid to move forward and stop being afraid that you won't love your ex anymore if you somehow start to detach. And finally, stop thinking that you need your ex to be happy because you don't. So Helen says this was really helpful. And thank you. That means a lot. And Estrella, thank you as well. Now I want to open it up for some questions. So I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can. Please be patient with me, and hopefully I can get to your question as well. Okay, well, we will start with Miranda Shelton, who says, my fiance broke up with me and didn't tell me why. He just said I nag and complain too much. Following that, I don't want anything out of life. Saying I was the reason he wasn't successful. Why is that? Okay, so Miranda, perhaps you did nag and perhaps you did complain too much. And I don't know the specificity of your story, but there's often some truth to what an ex complains about, right? So number one, you need to bring yourself to account and truly determine, where things went wrong and what you need to do to become a better potential fiance or a better potential girlfriend. And it's important for you to basically bring yourself to account and to start to change these things and to take action if you want to maximize your chances of success. At the same time, it's not fair for him to justify his unhappiness or his lack of success based on your actions as well. It's a cop-out. Perhaps you didn't make him feel as independent as he wanted to be, but ultimately he is responsible for his actions and for his life and for his happiness. So again, if you listen to the tips that I shared and what you need to stop doing, stop overthinking the reasons behind the breakup, right? And stop trying to overanalyze your ex's words, and instead focus on the roadmap, the plan, looking ahead, and start to take action. Okay. Fran Stepanovic says, Coach, help. How do I know if my ex's rebound will be long-lasting or crash and burn? And how can I win her back when she says she wants to try again, but not at the moment? Okay, Fran. So, when your ex is in a rebound relationship, it really tests your mental fortitude and your patience. The reality of it is that we don't know for sure how long they will stay together. I don't have a crystal ball and I don't claim to have one, okay? What I do know is that based on experience, if you were in a long-term relationship and your ex quickly jumps into a rebound relationship to try to heal and move forward, the odds are that that relationship won't work, that it will crash and burn. But you don't control what your ex does or, what this other person brings to the table. Instead, again, focus on you. And I really recommend that you buy my audio seminar if your ex is with someone else, because it can really help you to get into the right mindset to face the challenges that you will face during your breakup recovery. Lena says, ooh, sorry, Lena, your question jumped. Is it good to move? Is it a good move to reach out with a birthday card after over 2 months of no contact, while he has deleted me everywhere and is currently looking for someone new? So, Lena, it depends. I don't think that it's a good thing to reward negative behavior during breakup recovery, right? So if your ex has been treating you like poop, you shouldn't go out of your way to make them feel special. And at the same time, oftentimes the best way to send a message is to not message your ex on their birthday. With all that being said, depending on how long you guys were together, depending on how things played out, perhaps it's also a good opportunity for you guys to reconnect and to start talking again. If you are ready. If you are ready. That is the key. Not if you want to, because I know you want to, but if you're actually ready to win them back and to talk with them and to be yourself and to be authentic. If you're at that point, then perhaps yes, but don't make it a lovey-dovey card. Make sure that it's not over the top, and make sure that you're not rewarding negative behavior. Oftentimes when an ex is blocked you everywhere, or at least removed your pictures, etc., they need space. And I don't want you to go too fast. They need to win you back too, right? It's not you don't have to be the one doing all the work. Okay. So Hasib Alassane Ridoy. My ex is angry and making me jealous with her new rebound. She's super mad as I insulted her towards the end, and I apologized too. And I'm in no contact now for 15 days. Now what should I do next? It seems that this turned toxic towards the end. You know, I'm not here to preach or to make you feel worse, but be careful. Words have power, and insulting your significant other can have long-lasting negative impacts. So don't try to go for a quick fix type of solution. If your ex is trying to make you mad, it means that they actually still care, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't even be checking up on you. And it's important to show through your actions that you've changed and that you want what's best for them, instead of focusing on just apologizing or forcing your way back, especially if there's someone else in the picture. Maintain self-respect and dignity, and I think that a window will open down the road. Okay, who do we have? Okay, so Jen says, we were together for 6 years. His new girl found out he cheated with me and he changed his number. No contact for 6 months. Is there a chance of him ever reaching out? Sure. Absolutely there is. 6 years is a long time, and your window of opportunity is going to be open a lot longer than you realize. And if you guys slept together, this new relationship is shot. It's just a question of time before it goes downhill. So make sure that you're not too available. Don't just sit there and wait for them to reach back out. You need to live your life too. But yes, I think based on experience, what I've seen, the odds are that your ex will reach out to you again and that this relationship won't work. Because once you sleep with an ex, there's a lack of trust there moving forward. So, okay. The questions are coming in fast. So, give me a second, please. Okay, Conwell Charles says she's in a rebound with her childhood friend who's always been there for her. Will that last since they have a long-term history? Potentially. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I need to know more about your relationship, the length of it, and the details in order to be able to tell you what your actual chances are and the likelihood that you can inspire her again. Yes, when someone have been childhood friends with a new boyfriend, if they've been together for a period of at least 6-7 months, if they've digested your breakup, yeah, it can be complicated. But as long as you don't act desperate, as long as you're patient, who knows? You could potentially win her back if you do the right actions. I'm going to take one more question, and then I'm gonna have to go because I have a coaching session. You're very welcome, Jen. Okay. So blue desolation, you will be the last question that I answer. And it's a question about no contact and radio silence. So the question is, how long is acceptable for the space thing? Like, how much time is good enough for me to give them space before I try to talk with them? Fantastic question. So the truth of the matter is that this is not an exact science, right? A lot of times when you see people online, coaches give you a number like 30-day no contact, or don't reach out for 5 weeks, or whatever it may be. It is a projection based off of what you do, how you heal, how you evolve, how you grow. And so there's no exact answer until I actually talked to you and understand the nitty gritty, the intricacies of your relationship. I can't just throw an arbitrary number. I don't know anything about your relationship. If you're in a short-term relationship, space is usually, you're not going to give them as much space as if you were together for years, right? If your ex is dating someone else, it's a very different dynamic than if you were in a long-distance relationship. And that's why in our masterclass, we try to provide you with a scale based on these specific scenarios, on the basis of what we've seen over the years for different sort of situation and scenarios. But ultimately, what matters most is not the amount of time that passes, is what you do with that time. How are you evolving? What are you doing? How do you feel? If you're still vulnerable and desperate after a year, it's not enough time. And if within a week you have completely brushed it off and you're confident and you're social and you feel good and you can be around your ex and you're not going to put him on a pedestal, go for it. Go for it. So that is the truth. I have to run because I have a coaching session, but thank you so much for tuning in from all over the world, for being so engaged and wonderful, for the love that you give us. We read all the comments, and it really fuels us, and it gives us an opportunity to interact with a lot of you. So I'm really thankful. Helen, have a nice weekend too. And Asib, thank you as well. Brandy, thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words and the support. Keep fighting the good fight. And I'll be here next Friday to do this yet again, to talk about more tips, more things that I've shared that week in private coaching sessions. And thank you for the kind words, Hester and Jen and Quentin and all of you. Okay? And Steph says that she'll schedule a call. I'll be here. You know where to find me. This is what we do. God bless as well to you guys. Take care and see you soon next week or before. Keep fighting the good fight.